talking about 800-900 kilograms of buffalo. And you put those two in perspective with each other, then you suddenly start realizing this is a very, very large lion. If I was to lie down on his back with my head between his ears, my feet would just stick over the backside of his rump. Might even not. Might still be touching on his sort of haunches area. Standing next to him now, he's probably, well, difficult to say exactly, but certainly over 1 meter tall, probably about 4 foot tall at the shoulder. And I would not be able to put my arms around his neck to try it. I've been close enough to touch lions of this size during different captures or collaring and research projects, so the dimensions of these cats is difficult to really comprehend until you get very, very close to them. Be able to, or unable to put your hands around his forearm, for instance. The front leg would be too thick for your fingers to touch if you put both hands around. Very, very impressive cats. Don't get to be called the king of the jungle for nothing though. You can see the tail of the buffalo. Just yesterday we were talking about there was a question about buffalo sometimes having short tails. Obviously sometimes the buffalo might lose the tail but get away. In this case obviously the buffalo lost more than just the tail. Then should we try a close-up eye again? Just while this lion is relatively stationary, he was moving so much earlier. Just look at that. Ah, isn't that amazing? Look at the nostril. And the canines. Look at the tongue texture as well. We often mention that. You can't often see it. If you can make it out when he opens his mouth again, you'll notice there's little, almost like I always compare it hair-like nails. If you feel the tongue of a lion, if you brush your fingers across it, it's very almost like little spikes or hooks on the tongue, and they use that to, oh, look at that. Even when he licks, you might see that the tongue actually can grip onto meat, so they can lick meat or tissue to get hold of it, as well as obviously lapping up water when they're drinking. Oh, that was a looking down the throat of a lion. Like I said earlier, that was probably the closest we've come to doing that ever. There you can see the tongue being used to lick the meat. And then of course those canines, the very large teeth that we can see very clearly there, they don't get used for feeding much. Once they start feeding, they'll sometimes use those little teeth in the front, the middle ones you can see between the canines, but most importantly are those carnassial shears, the teeth at the side of the jaw. Big wide nose, obviously very good sense of smell. Whiskers, not as long as with leopard, but still very good whiskers, and then just most incredible eyes. It really is not often you get to look at a lion like this. Look at that. Yeah, if I keep coming, you can pull him. Oh, down his throat again. Yeah, I'll be pulling out in about 30 seconds. Look at that. Again. Almost down into his... I was going to say into his belly. Not the kind of part of a lion you necessarily want to see, but from a distance like this, safe enough. Oh, we've got some other vehicles coming in, but what an amazing sighting. I haven't seen lions quite a while. To have a sighting like this, I mean, like I say, sometimes I feel a little bit silly trying to explain or talk about something so impressive. It's all kinds of facts and figures and interesting stories you can tell about lions, but in the end, when you look at it like this, you looked into that eye the way we did, there's not really much anyone can say. It's something that you feel, something that you carry inside you. Sure, enjoy that. We'll have one last quick close-up look there. It's always difficult to leave something like this. Look at that. Oh, stunning. We're going to make space for other vehicles. We might try and come back here towards the end of the drive again. I'm sure we'll be able to. But yeah, Saturday surprise. We seem to often have Saturday surprises and they're normally fantastic. We're going to come back in a bit. Oh, unbelievable. We have a quick glimpse of the other lion. Just unfortunately a little bit tricky getting out of this habitat. Just here on our left hand side, we're not going to be able to stop long because of other vehicles. This is also beautiful. Look at that. Not sure how we're going to get out of here.